The streets of Lagos buzzed with life as cars honked, traders shouted, and pedestrians weaved their way through the crowded sidewalks. Amidst the chaos, Rachel stood by her small roadside stool, arranging the ripe bananas she had carefully picked for the day. She wiped the sweat off her forehead, exhausted yet determined. Rachel had been selling bananas on this street for years. It was the only way she could survive since losing her parents. She had no home of her own, sleeping in the same roadside stall where she worked. Every night, she dreamt of a better life, a small apartment, a comfortable bed, and a future where she wouldn't have to struggle to eat. Just as she was lost in thought, a luxury SUV pulled up near her stool. The sleek black car looked out of place among the rusted buses and motorcycles that filled the street. Two men stepped out, both tall, handsome, and well-dressed. They were Sam and James, childhood friends who'd built their way up from poverty to become successful business partners. "Good evening, Rachel," Sam greeted, his voice warm and friendly. "Good evening, sir," Rachel responded politely. James smiled as he picked up a bunch of bananas. "How much for these?" Rachel quickly told him the price, and James paid without bargaining. As she handed him the bananas, Sam noticed something was off. Her usually bright eyes looked tired, and her smile seemed forced. "Rachel, are you okay?" Sam asked gently. Rachel hesitated before forcing a smile. "I'm fine, sir, just thinking about life." Sam could hear the sadness in her voice. He thought for a moment before asking, "Rachel, can you cook?" Rachel's face lit up slightly. "Yes, sir. My mother was an excellent cook before she passed away. I learned a lot from her." Sam nodded. "That's good to know. How much do you make selling bananas?" Rachel looked down. "At most, 30,000 naira per month." Sam smiled. 30,000? That's not much. How about this? I'll hire you as a maid to cook and take care of the house. I'll pay you 50,000 per week." Rachel gasped, her eyes widening in disbelief. 50,000 per week, sir? Are you serious? Sam nodded. "Yes, you can start tomorrow." Tears of joy welled up in Rachel's eyes. "Oh my God, thank you, sir. You just put a smile on my face. May God bless you." Sam chuckled. "Don't worry, Rachel, things will get better." That night, as Rachel packed up her stool for the last time, she felt a renewed sense of hope. For the first time in years, she had something to look forward to. Tomorrow would mark the beginning of a new chapter in her life. The next morning, Rachel woke up earlier than usual, her heart pounding with excitement. Today was the beginning of her new life. She packed a small bag with her few belongings, some clothes, a worn-out Bible, and a picture of her late mother. She took one last look at her roadside stool before whispering, "Goodbye." At exactly 8 a.m., Sam arrived in his sleek SUV, stepping out with his usual confident smile. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Yes, sir." Rachel beamed, climbing into the car. As they drove through the bustling streets of Lagos, Rachel stared out the window in amazement. She had never been inside such a luxurious car before. Everything felt like a dream. When they finally arrived at Sam's mansion, Rachel's jaw dropped. The house was enormous, with high walls, a beautiful garden, and a driveway big enough to fit several cars. She had only seen places like this in movies. "Welcome to your new workplace," Sam said, smiling as he helped her out of the car. Rachel stepped inside and gasped. The living room was beautifully furnished with expensive sofas, a huge chandelier, and a large television mounted on the wall. She couldn't believe she was going to work in such a place. Just then, a voice filled with irritation rang out. "Who is this dirty girl?" Rachel turned to see a tall, beautiful woman sitting on the couch with her arms crossed. She had perfectly styled hair, long artificial nails, and wore an expensive designer dress. Rachel instantly knew this must be Sam's girlfriend, Linda. Sam's smile faded. "Linda, don't talk to her like that. She's the new maid I hired. She'll be cooking and taking care of the house." Linda scoffed. "A maid? My house, Sam? You didn't even ask for my opinion." James, who had been watching from the staircase, walked over and smiled warmly at Rachel. "Welcome, Rachel. Now we can finally eat real food in this house." Rachel smiled nervously. "Thank you, sir." Linda, however, was fuming. She had no intention of letting some poor street girl take over her space. Later that day, Rachel got straight to work, cleaning the kitchen and preparing lunch. The delicious aroma of her cooking filled the house, making James's stomach growl. "Finally, real food," James said, sitting at the dining table excitedly. Sam joined him, smiling as Rachel served the meal. But Linda just sat there with a smirk. As soon as Rachel turned her back, Linda quickly poured extra salt into the soup, hoping to ruin the meal. However, when Rachel returned, she noticed immediately. Without saying a word, she used Irish potatoes to absorb the excess salt. When Sam and James tasted the food, their eyes lit up. "Rachel, this is delicious," Sam said, smiling. Linda's jaw tightened in frustration. Her plan had failed. As she watched Sam and James enjoy their meal, an idea formed in her mind. She wasn't going to let this girl stay without a fight. Rachel woke up early the next morning, eager to start her day. She still couldn't believe she was living in such a beautiful house. After years of sleeping in her roadside stool, she now had a soft bed, a warm meal, and a steady income. Life was finally starting to change for her. She quickly got dressed and headed to the kitchen to prepare breakfast. As she moved around, humming softly to herself, she felt a pair of eyes watching her. Turning around, she saw Linda standing by the doorway, arms crossed, a cold expression on her face. "So, you think you're big now, huh?" Linda sneered. Rachel blinked in confusion. I don't understand, Ma." Linda stepped closer. "Listen to me, little street girl. I don't care how good your cooking is. I don't want you here. This is my house, and I don't share space with low-class people like you." Rachel lowered her gaze. "I'm just here to work, Ma. I don't mean any harm." Linda scoffed. "We'll see about that." With that, she turned and walked away, her heels clicking loudly against the marble floor. Rachel sighed. She had a feeling Linda wasn't going to make things easy for her. Later that morning, as Rachel was setting the table for breakfast, James walked in, stretching his arms. "I can already smell the goodness," he said cheerfully. Rachel smiled. "Good morning, sir. Breakfast is ready." Sam soon joined them, taking his seat at the table. Linda, however, walked in with a frown, still angry from their argument the night before. As they ate, Sam turned to Rachel. "Rachel, this is really good. I haven't eaten like this in a long time." James nodded. "I agree. You have a gift, Rachel." Rachel blushed slightly. "Thank you, sir." Linda stabbed her fork into her plate but remained silent. As days passed, James found himself paying more attention to Rachel. He admired her hard work, kindness, and the way she remained humble despite her growing confidence. At the same time, Sam also found himself drawn to her, though he tried to ignore it. Linda wasn't blind to what was happening. She saw how Sam smiled at Rachel, how James found excuses to talk to her. Her frustration grew each day. One afternoon, Linda stormed into Sam's room. "I don't like the way you and James are acting around that girl." Sam sighed. "Linda, she's just doing her job. Why are you so bothered?" Linda folded her arms. "I feel like you're replacing me." Sam looked at her carefully. "Linda, you've never cared about this house or me. All you do is spend money and complain. Maybe the real problem isn't Rachel. Maybe it's you." Linda's face turned red with anger. She knew she had to do something before she lost everything. Days passed, and Rachel grew more comfortable in her new role. She cleaned, cooked, and ensured the house was well taken care of. Sam and James appreciated her hard work, and even the other workers in the house admired her. But one person remained determined to make her life miserable: Linda. Linda could no longer ignore the fact that Sam was smiling more, eating well, and even spending more time at home. Rachel had become the light in the house, and Linda hated it. She knew she had to do something before Sam completely forgot about her. One evening, while Rachel was in the kitchen preparing dinner, Linda walked in, pretending to be friendly. "Rachel," she said sweetly, "you're such a hard-working girl. You must be tired." Rachel, caught off guard by Linda's sudden kindness, nodded politely. "A little, Ma, but I'm used to working hard." Linda smiled. "That's good. Listen, I need your help with something. Can you go to the market and buy some special ingredients for me?" Rachel frowned slightly. "But, Ma, dinner is almost ready. Sam and Sir James will be expecting their food soon." "Oh, don't worry about that," Linda said, waving her hand. "I'll take care of it. Just go quickly." Rachel hesitated but didn't want to disobey. She quickly washed her hands, took the money Linda gave her, and left for the market. The moment Rachel stepped out of the house, Linda put her plan into action. She hurried to the dining table and pulled out a small bottle from her purse. Inside was a powdery substance, a mild laxative she had bought earlier. She sprinkled it into the soup Rachel had prepared, stirring it quickly to ensure it dissolved. Smirking to herself, she whispered, "Let's see how much they love your cooking after this." Moments later, Sam and James arrived at the dining table, hungry as usual. "Where's Rachel?" Sam asked, looking around. "Oh, I sent her on a quick errand," Linda said sweetly. "I didn't want her to overwork herself, so I served the food for you." James, already grabbing a spoon, dug in. "Smells good," he said before taking a big bite. Sam followed, and for a moment, everything seemed normal. But a few minutes later, both men started shifting uncomfortably in their seats. James grabbed his stomach, his face twisting in pain. "Something is not right," he said. Sam groaned. "I don't feel good either." Within moments, both men rushed out of the dining room towards the restroom. Linda covered her mouth, trying to suppress her laughter. When Rachel returned, she was shocked to find the house in chaos. The workers were whispering, and Sam and James were locked in their rooms, sick. "What happened?" she asked one of the housekeepers. "I don't know," the woman replied, "but they both got sick right after eating dinner." Rachel felt her heart drop. She knew Linda had something to do with this. She stood frozen in shock as she watched the house in chaos. Sam and James were both locked in their rooms, groaning in pain. The workers whispered amongst themselves, confused about what had happened. Rachel quickly ran to the kitchen, checking the food she had prepared earlier. She tasted a spoonful and immediately knew something was wrong. There was a strange aftertaste, something she hadn't put in the soup. Her heart pounded. She knew who was behind this. Taking a deep breath, she hurried upstairs and knocked on Sam's door. "Sir Sam, are you okay?" Sam groaned from inside. "Rachel, I don't know what happened. My stomach." Rachel felt a lump in her throat. "Sir, did you eat the soup?" "Yes." Rachel clenched her fists. Linda had done this. She had poisoned the food. She rushed to James's room, where she found him in the same condition. "James, I'm so sorry. I think someone tampered with the food." James looked up weakly. "Rachel, I trust you. I know you wouldn't do this." Rachel's eyes filled with tears. "Please, let me make a remedy." I can help. James nodded. Go quickly. Rachel ran back to the kitchen and grabbed some herbal tea leaves she had brought from her old shop. Her mother had taught her how to make a natural remedy for stomach problems. She brewed the tea and rushed back to Sam and James's rooms, begging them to drink it. Minutes later, the pain started to ease, and both men slowly regained their strength. Just then, Linda walked in, pretending to be innocent. "Oh my God, what happened?" she gasped dramatically. Sam, now feeling better, looked at her suspiciously. "Linda, you were the only one here when we ate." Linda widened her eyes. "Are you saying I poisoned you?" James scoffed. "I wouldn't be surprised." Rachel stepped forward, her voice firm. "Sir Sam, I tasted the food when I came back. Something was added to it." Sam's face darkened. "Linda, did you do this?" Linda's expression shifted. "Why would I do that? Why are you all blaming me?" Sam took a deep breath. "Because you've been trying to get rid of Rachel since the day she arrived." Linda laughed bitterly. "Oh, I see what's happening. You're all taking her side now. That little banana seller has taken my place, hasn't she?" Sam shook his head. "No, Linda. You lost your place by yourself. I've been patient with you, hoping you would change, but all you care about is money and shopping. You don't even care about me." Linda's face turned red with anger. "So what now? You're choosing her over me?" Sam looked at her, his expression cold. "I'm choosing peace over toxicity, Linda. This isn't working anymore." Linda clenched her fists. "Fine. If that's what you want, I'm leaving." She grabbed her bag and stormed out of the house. Rachel stood there in shock. She had never wanted to break Sam and Linda apart, but now it had happened. James sighed. "Well, that was dramatic." Sam turned to Rachel and smiled weakly. "Thank you, Rachel. You saved us." Rachel smiled softly. "I'm just glad you're okay." But deep down, she knew this was only the beginning of a new challenge. Days passed after Linda's dramatic exit, and the house finally felt peaceful. Sam and James had fully recovered, thanks to Rachel's quick thinking and herbal remedy. The once chaotic mansion was now filled with laughter, delicious meals, and warmth, something that had been missing for a long time. James, however, had been acting differently. He spent more time with Rachel, always finding excuses to talk to her, help her in the kitchen, or compliment her cooking. Sam noticed this and, though he tried to ignore it, he couldn't deny that he had feelings for Rachel too. One evening, as Rachel was setting the dining table, James leaned against the counter, watching her with admiration. "Rachel," he said, "have you ever thought about what you want for your future?" Rachel looked up, surprised. "Well, I've always dreamed of going to school. I never had the chance after my mother passed." James smiled. "That's a beautiful dream. And what about love?" Rachel blushed. "I don't know, sir. Love has never been a priority. I've been too busy surviving." James nodded. "But if you had to choose between me and Sam, who would it be?" Rachel's eyes widened. She hadn't expected that question. Just then, Sam walked in. He had overheard the conversation, and his heart raced. He had tried to deny it for so long, but the truth was clear: he loved Rachel. "Rachel," Sam said softly, stepping forward, "I don't want to pressure you, but I need to tell you the truth. I have feelings for you." Rachel's heart pounded. She looked between the two men, both of whom had been kind to her, both of whom had helped change her life. She took a deep breath. "Sir James, you are an amazing man, and I respect you so much, but my heart belongs to Sam." James exhaled, smiling sadly. "I see. Well, a man has to try his luck, right?" He chuckled, though his eyes held a hint of disappointment. "I'm happy for you both. Sam turned to James. "You're my brother, James. I never wanted to compete with you." James patted Sam on the shoulder. "Love is not a competition, my friend. It's about fate." Sam then looked at Rachel, his eyes filled with admiration. "Rachel, I don't just want you as my maid. I want you in my life, by my side, forever." Rachel felt tears welling up. "Sir Sam, I don't know what to say." Sam held her hands. "Say yes." She smiled through her tears. "Yes." Months later, Sam fulfilled his promise. He sent Rachel to school while she continued to live in his house. James, ever the supportive friend, remained close, watching as their love grew. And finally, one beautiful afternoon, Sam and Rachel stood before family and friends, exchanging vows. The once homeless banana seller was now the wife of a man who truly loved and cherished her. As they shared their first kiss as husband and wife, James raised a toast, to love, to friendship, and to new beginnings. And with that, Rachel's dream of a better life had finally come true. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, tell us where you are watching us from.